Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground. I didn't think I was going to be able to do an episode today because, as I said yesterday, I've got family visiting. But lo and behold, they just want to chill and hang out, which means I get to chill and hang out with you guys. So let's frickin' go. Bitcoin's price and supply numbers are saying two different things. What is that? And is it really important? We're going to take a look at that. What else? Got some Grant Cardone hopium, right? Grant Cardone's making his rounds. He's supposedly going to be sailor number 2. Let's see how that goes. We are going to watch a quick clip about that. Mara, right? One of the biggest Bitcoin miners and a publicly traded company is considering selling its Bitcoin. Womp, womp. Does that even really matter? We're going to take a look. Paraguay's National Electricity Administration signs Bitcoin mining memorandum. And of course, right, this is getting everybody very excited. We're actually going to dive into the details of that so that we have more of an accurate picture of what's really happening there. The European Central Bank, ECB, warns about growing stablecoin adoption. What? No way. After the US banks just spent the last 2 weeks crying about stablecoin yields, now the ECB is afraid? Oh my gosh, I'm in shock. I'm in shock. Tokenized stocks. Yay. We're getting tokenized stocks. Lucky us. This is actually an interesting thing. Becoming a Lightning swap liquidity provider for Electrum wallet. I never thought of that. As you guys know, I use Amboss, and I provide liquidity, so to speak. And I just didn't realize that there were other platforms that you could really do that with. So we're going to take a look at that. There's a Cake wallet update and Raspiblitz. Some of you guys may not even know what the Raspiblitz is because it's not a commercially sold node. It's an open source project. It's completely free, right? With the exception of buying the parts. And that is a project that I used to work on a lot. The majority of my node experience and adventures all took place on a Raspiblitz. They've got a new update. We're going to take a look at it. Guys, it's going to be a great show. Let's frickin' do it. Here we go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right. Let's say good morning to some folks. Good morning, Batpish and J Studios. And Batpish had a comment from I guess it was from either earlier this morning. I remember you were saying that Jack released the lending product on purpose during a bull market, but he just launched his line of credit, which seems like a good product fit during a bear market. Yes, indeed it does. I saw that as well. I'm pleased about that, right? In terms of offering more products, Bitcoin related products. I do think that that is a good thing. I did check in my Strike app, though. I didn't see anything for it, just so I could actually take a look at it. So I don't know if it's like a timed rollout, if only certain people who possibly signed up to a wait list or beta testing it or something like that. But I didn't see it in the app yet. Then again, I'll go check to see if I have to do an update for my app. And as soon as I have more details on it, we're definitely going to be talking about it. But yeah, I totally appreciate you bringing this up. I do think this is a good thing, right? Because of course, from my framing, it was, hey, he's here and he's just going to strike the iron while it's hot, so to speak, and try to milk the people at the top of the market. So I do appreciate this. This is some good stuff. Yeah, I agree. Me too. I've never had, I've seen so many people, I shouldn't say so many people, I've seen enough people complain, right, about Strike and about Jack and all that stuff. And of course, people crying about Tether and everything. Look, I've said this 1,000 times. You think I like Tether? No, but you got to respect it when a business understands how to play the game better than everyone else. Sorry, not sorry. I don't like them, but they know how to play. And they were facilitating Jack, and Strike's original architecture, right? They were doing a lot of the magic in the background. So anyways, all right, let's move on. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Before we actually dive into the stuff, right? So we're definitely seeing this, right? You know, Iranians are buying Bitcoin. I started to see this yesterday. Mass withdrawing into self-custody amid the war. I've seen a couple of articles like this. Look, Bitcoin in self-custody is the only way. Now, I see some people trying to frame this as this is why Bitcoin's going to pump or why Bitcoin's pumping. I'm not 100% sure about that. Look, maybe there's some degree of truth to it, but I wouldn't sit there and confidently say this is all because of what, this is all because the Iranians are withdrawing their Bitcoin. Like that's just I think that's outlandish. Anyways, now let's dive into the fun part, the numbers. Look at us. Yesterday I was given these numbers. We were at like 67. Look at us here, or 69. Now we're at 73.6. Not bad for the fiat Bitcoin exchange. My hopium is restoring. I am pleased. Anyways, current block height, 939,290. Sats per V-byte, say it ain't so. Yesterday it was 4, now it's 1. Now it's costing even less to use on-chain. How is this possible? No one's going to be able to use Bitcoin now that it's significantly cheaper to use. And there is 5,700 BTC on in terms of Lightning capacity that is publicly available. We do not know what is in private channels. We don't. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm always curious, though. I'm always very curious what's actually going on in the private channels. Let's see here. Jack is surviving the bloodbath. Yeah, we see every bull and bear market. Yeah, I agree. I do wish, though, I think we talked about this on Bitcoin Tonight on Monday night. I don't really care about this, but I know that Wall Street does. He doesn't do enough press releases. Like there's a delicate balance between not doing any press releases to talk about what your business is doing and talking too much to the point where clearly you're talking so much about everything that obviously nothing is happening. So there's a delicate balance there. I'm hoping he's gonna strike it. Yeah, you see what I did there? Oh, okay. Anyways, what else? The strike rollout started in 2 states. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm going to look out for it. I appreciate this. Okay, let us continue. Here we go, guys. We're going to get into some of the solid hopium, right? This is what we were talking about. Bitcoin's price and the numbers are saying 2 different things. What are they saying? That's right. This is a post from one of my favorite hopium dealers on Twitter. David_ENG_MBA. Here we go. Bitcoin's price and supply numbers are saying 2 totally different things. The price says risk. The supply numbers say supply shock. You lost me right there. There's no such thing as supply shock, guys. I know. We all want to believe it. It's not real. Okay. Anyways, 450 Bitcoin per day of new supply, 13,500 BTC per month. Strategy bought 3,000 Bitcoin in 1 week. One ETF session pulled in $458 million worth. Long-term hodlers selling is down 87%. Exchange supply is at its lowest level since 2018. So this is where I go and I check with Sani XP. And there's always around, like, I think it's between like 2 to 3 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. So this number, right, as much as I want to believe that this matters and we're going to the moon because of some supply shock theory, like these numbers haven't changed. This is the same. Supply keeps shrinking. This is not a normal drawdown. This is tightening float. Meh. I don't agree. It's literally the same float we had in 2017. So I don't think it's much of anything. But we've got more people enacting the sailor strategy. Some people may even argue, hear me out, some people may even argue that Grant Cardone might out-sailor. Why? Because his business actually has revenue and cash flow. Oh my gosh, how did they do it? So you're saying your business makes money? What? No way. And I'm not even a fan of Grant Cardone. Okay? I know, ACP, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I want to do it, right? But then I'm lying to myself. And I know. We're supposed to lie to make friends. I get it. This is why I have no friends. Boom. There you go. You figured Phil out. This is why I have no friends. Anyways, okay, let's see what Grant had to say.
Bitcoin treasury company.
Hell is up with the audio?
And real revenue, real income, real cash flow, a real use. It comes with depreciation and it comes with a bunch of Bitcoin. And then every month we buy Bitcoin out of our free cash flow.
How much Bitcoin do you expect to end up with by the end of this quarter? Are you expecting to buy more?
We'll have 3,000. We'll have 3,000 pieces by the end of this year.
And are you looking towards next year?
3,000 pieces. Where'd the Bitcoin go?
Are you looking to acquire a little bit more than you were acquiring this year?
For sure.
Oh, 100%, dude. I'm gonna scale this. I just started this.
Okay.
I met with Saylor. Gary actually got a meeting with me and Saylor early this year, February. I started in March. We have 5 deals already funded, completely funded. Okay. No instant. We're not public yet. I'm gonna take this model public.
So look, there's nothing wrong with this. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. This is totally typical, right? There's a whole bunch of people right now that have invested in this, and this is essentially, if he can IPO, then these people are going to be able to finally sell their shares if they want, and they're going to be able to get their money back, and quite possibly a little bit more.
Public. I'm going to build the largest real estate Bitcoin publicly traded treasury company in the world.
And that's where you stand, though. Like, it's just Bitcoin. You're not entertaining, like, let's say, an Ethereum or Solana kind of play.
No.
He said no before he even finished answering the question. It's like, no, we're not dealing with any of that crap. Look, there's enough evidence that proves that all of these different shitcoin activities are only good if you are the one that creates the shitcoin and you are the one initially extracting the value, or you're getting paid to sell this crap. You know? Yeah. I appreciate. I mean, look, in terms of I don't know if I like or not like, but what I can say is that I appreciate the method that he's doing, right? He understood. I've watched him enough times and I've listened to him enough times. He understands what's wrong with the Bitcoin treasury companies, right? Like, as much as people can sit there and make fun of him for his, beliefs or being a grifter. I've called him a grifter myself, right? So I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. The reality is that he looked at these businesses and he's like, they don't make any money. Nobody's going to buy their shares. I can out-Saylor these people. I can out-business these people by simply offering a business that actually has revenues without needing to dilute shareholders or kick shareholders in the nuts. Let's see if he does it. Let's see if he pulls it off. Now, I will give one caveat. There's obviously already many very, very powerful, very liquid real estate companies. Right? Like realty properties, I believe they're called, ticker symbol O, right? So these guys already pay a dividend. They've got a whole bunch of cash. They own, I don't know how many commercial properties. Look, the reality is that if a business like that starts to look at Cardone Capital and decides, hey, what he's doing is actually pretty good. They've already got more real estate than he does. Their ability to stack might be a little bit greater than Grant's. Either way, I do think that it's definitely a step in the right direction. I do believe that he may out-Saylor. And I'm interested. If nothing else, for the entertainment value, right? Yeah, that's kind of the issue, right, Jay? They always say the right stuff, and that's this is something that we've always noticed, right? People you say the magic words, and everyone just forgets about everything else. It doesn't matter. You said the magic words. Now I'm sold. All right. We're moving on. Sorry, guys, I'm getting all hung up on this stuff. Hey, for Andy. Hey, actually, it's great that you are here. So I've been screwing up on Rumble, and I keep forgetting to post the stream there because I keep getting errors. That's my fault, not Rumble's fault. I know that I blame Rumble a lot for the background stuff, but in this case, it's a user error, and I am the user. So welcome for Andy. All right, so let's dive into the Mara stuff, right? Largest public Bitcoin miner, Mara Holdings, to consider selling its Bitcoin reserves. So they haven't sold any. Okay. I haven't sold any. Everybody calm down. Second largest public Bitcoin hodler has updated its treasury policy to allow potential sales of its stockpiled Bitcoin. They currently have 53,000 Bitcoin, ranking right behind Saylor. All right, so let's take a look at this. The move, detailed in its annual 10K filing submitted to the US SEC on March 2nd, 2026, marks the first time MARA has explicitly authorized liquidation of its accumulated treasury stockpile. So they didn't move anything, right? They're just setting the legal precedent in case they decide to sell. They're most likely going to sell, though. Anyways, in the second half of 2025, we changed our digital asset management strategy to permit sales of Bitcoin generated from operations. And in 2026, we expanded the strategy to allow for sales of Bitcoin held on our balance sheet. Accordingly, we may hold Bitcoin for long-term investment purposes. We may also buy or sell Bitcoin from time to time, subject to market conditions and our capital allocation priorities. So what this is generic business speech. That's all that is, right? It's just generic business speech. Like, there's a good possibility that they are going to sell. They are just preparing, right? They are preparing for possible downturns. You got to remember, when you're a public company, right? You not only have a responsibility to your shareholders, you have a responsibility to the board of directors, right? And that responsibility, for whatever reason, I mean, I guess you could say it just has to do with high time preference. That responsibility gets questioned every quarter, okay? Now, unless you're a Berkshire Hathaway, where you're just going to sit there and be like, I know for a fact that I can take $1 and turn it into $100,000 because I understand business is better than you. Like, unless you're a Berkshire Hathaway, you are going to be managing to every quarter. Okay. The majority of businesses all manage to the quarter, and any business on Wall Street that doesn't, with very few exceptions, gets absolutely roasted by Wall Street. Okay. So very few people can pull that off. These guys, I don't see them being able to pull it off. I believe they're going to have no choice. They're going to have to play the same game as the majority of other Wall Street businesses, which is the quarterly dance. All right, so let's go. Paraguay's National Electricity Administration signs memorandum to explore the role of Bitcoin mining as a national level opportunity. And of course, we're super excited. They will use Bitcoin miners to transform unused electricity into a new revenue engine for Paraguay. It's fantastic, right? It sounds great. Sounds totally great. I'm excited. All right, so here we go. The agreement formalizes cooperation between Andy and Morphware, positioning Morphware as a technical and advisory partner for regulated Bitcoin mining operations in Paraguay. At the center of the deal, here we go, guys. This is the real signal, right? Everybody likes to think, yeah, the government's going to go. They're investing all this money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, at the center of the deal is a growing stockpile of confiscated Bitcoin miners. Shit they got for free. Okay, that Paraguayan authorities have seized from illegal operations across the country. According to Morphware founder and CEO Kenzo Trabbing, the government is holding Bitcoin miners that were taken from operators accused of stealing electricity or falsely registering as another type of business to secure lower power rates. So we're not going to talk about power rate monopolies or anything like that. It's you, peon, that took advantage of the system. That's right. That's right. The all-powerful governments are always right. The pilot program will redeploy 1,500 of these seized Bitcoin miners at Andy-controlled sites. Paraguay has become a destination for Bitcoin miners in recent years due to the abundance of low-cost hydroelectricity power, which is great, much of it generated by Itaipu Dam and exported to Brazil. So I get it. We're excited. Paraguay's going to look at mining. It's because they got miners for free. The government's looking at a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Why? They can take it for free. You see the patterns yet, or are we just going to keep pretending that these governments need to actually buy Bitcoin and purchase these tools? See, and this is how I don't get wrecked, right? This is how I don't get wrecked, because I read this stuff, I actually go through it, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't such a big deal. I just need to continue to DCA and hodl. Whereas if you're one of these people who buys everything the hopium dealers are telling you, you're like, oh, that's it. This is going to be huge. We're going to the moon. And then you go, you maybe take a mortgage against your house. Maybe you borrow against your car, or something like that, waiting for this news to happen. And then it doesn't. And now you're over leveraged. You've bought too much Bitcoin. You don't have enough to pay your bills. And now you're stuck selling at a lower price. Like, guys, I'm not saying this happens to everyone, but it does happen to some people. So it's that meme, right? Silence, hopium dealer. A pleb is speaking. I'm sorry. It's one of those moods today, guys. It's one of those moods. I'm happy because we're pumping. Anyways, all right, let's dive into the ECB, right? So, new paper from the ECB is warning that growing stablecoin adoption could pull deposits out of banks, constrain lending, and weaken its ability to transmit monetary policy. How is that even possible? Why do we even pretend that monetary policy isn't enforced by state-backed violence? Like, this is gaslighting nonsense. The ECB wants you scared, obviously, right? You need to be afraid so that a solution can be provided. You just do what you're told, okay? That's what we do. We do what we're told. That way we get to live to fight another day, okay? And the stable coins, this is a major threat to the banking institutions that print money out of thin air. You see, the stable coins, and I don't like them, but guess what? They can create money out of thin air. Okay? The banks have been pretending that they haven't. Now, all of a sudden, the jig is up. Right? They can't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, we'll just print money out of thin air. It's like, nope, can't do that. Can't let the smoke, right? You can't let the genie out of the bottle. I was going to say you can't let the smoke out of the board. But yeah, most people are not going to get that analogy because it's a tech geek analogy. But yeah, they're totally host. This is freaking hilarious watching this happen in real time. And let's be honest, right? Who gives a shit which institution is actually holding money? Like, does it make a difference? It's a bank, it's a credit union, it's a stable coin issue. It doesn't make a difference. A third party. It's a trusted third party. Like, what are we pretending? Again, the pretend. Oh, the pretend. All right. Anyways, that paper also flagged added concerns around the growth. This is the signal right here, guys. Okay, it's not about the local banks or anything like that. It is about the ECB and the control of the euro. Right, that's what it's all about. The paper the paper also flagged added concerns around the growth of foreign currency stablecoins, which it said could further weaken the connection between domestic monetary policy and bank lending, with risks amplified when the market is dominated by non-euro denominated tokens. They're just protecting their moat like everyone else. That's all. ECB officials have previously warned that the spread, and here we go, of the dollar-denominated stablecoins could raise questions about monetary sovereignty and the euro's role in cross-border payments. That's right. It's always about the moat, guys. It's always about maintaining control and exerting power. The working paper cited data, here we go, that the US dollar-backed stablecoins make up the vast majority of the stablecoin market. Data from CoinGecko shows dollar-pegged tokens are valued at $301 billion, representing 97% total stablecoin market capitalization at the time of the writing. Big oof. Big oof to the ECB, right? While Christine and the bunch were sitting there getting the Europeans to doodle and create little drawings for them for their paper money that nobody's using anymore. Look at what happened. Stable coins started to use treasury bills and US dollars to back themselves instead of euros. So these guys, they just marketed themselves out, or they're marketing themselves out of an industry. But again, I'm not a stablecoin supporter, but I do appreciate the game and the landscape. And I enjoy watching the ECB get kicked in the nuts. And I like watching them cry about how they pretend that they're not going to be able to. What was that? What was that about the monetary policy? What did they say? Weaken its ability to transmit monetary policy. Words that mean nothing. It's so good. It is so good. I love it. Let these guys cry. Cry freaking harder, Banks. Cry harder. And speaking of which, let's move on here. So Ondo Finance, guys. Abu Dhabi approved Ondo's tokenized stocks, including Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, and trade on Binance's regulated platform. You know what? I'm going to make a prediction because why not? This is going to end well. You can totally trust that the exchanges are going to buy the shares, right? The underlying shares, because let's face it, right? A tokenized product has to have some type of an underlying asset in order to be the carrot on the stick to get the unsuspecting noob to get wrecked with their crappy product. Now, I'm not saying that stonks aren't going to be going the way of tokenization and all of that. Indeed, they are. It's like there's no question there. But I think this is, before we get to that place, there's going to be a lot of effery, and this, I think, is going to be one of maybe the leading causes of that fuckery. Excuse me. Anyways, see what happens. Totally unsurprising. All right, let's get into the cool stuff, guys. Let's get into the cool stuff. If you have a Lightning node with liquidity, this is from BitDove, and also on-chain liquidity, you can turn yourself into a Lightning Swap liquidity provider for the Electrum wallet. I did not know that you can do this, but I am going to be checking out these docs to see what it's about and what I can do. So I will definitely be following up on this one, and I think it's cool. The reality is that providing liquidity on Lightning is one of the few ways that you can actually make hodling Bitcoin lucrative. However, right, there are trade-offs. I haven't looked at the Electrum. I haven't looked at this particular thing yet, so I don't know if you have to necessarily transfer your Bitcoin to a hosted node or something like that. But so far, what I've seen from the other products, right, including the product that I am using, Amboss, right, you are spinning up a node in the cloud, right, that is being hosted by that company's platform, and you are generating seed words. Do you know if somebody else has a copy of those seed words? No, you don't, right? That is the truth. You don't really know. There's an element of trust me, bro. So yeah, I'm very curious to see if there's an element of trust me, bro, in this. I don't know. I don't know if there is. Cake Wallet. Everybody's super excited about this. So it's official. Lightning is here for Cake Wallet. With today's launch of Lightning, we'll walk through the features that make Cake Wallet's Lightning integration stand out from the pack. Okay. Roll tape. It's not that long. Looks good. All right. Well, look, what I saw already in the comments, some people were indicating that there is an element of centralized custody with this. They're using, I forget exactly which service it is, but there's two services that are being used in the background. Look, it's always it is a step in the right direction in terms of adoption. However, the people that have these unrealistic purity tests or I should say these unrealistic purity practices where, you believe that every single move you make with Bitcoin absolutely has to be self-custody or it's not Bitcoin. I get that. I totally understand that. At the same time, there's always trade-offs, and I believe that if you understand those trade-offs and you're okay with that, you know what's also part of Bitcoin? Being able to voluntarily use the network or not. So if you are a person that believes that those trade-offs are okay for you, by all means, use these products. It's a personal decision, right? Personal responsibility shouldn't be a superpower. Right? Like that should just be default. All right, the Raspiblitz, guys. So when I started doing the Fun with Bitcoin podcasts, 7-8 years ago, these guys, this is what I was totally sucked into. I was totally sucked into the Raspiblitz project. It is a do-it-yourself, pretty much the pretty much the only do-it-yourself node left. Okay. I get it. Some people could say that there's also the Raspiblitz, which is made by Staticus 3000. I don't know if he's maintained that for beyond like 4 years ago. But these guys, man, Roots All and Open Noms and Jeff, I'm totally forgetting his last name. These guys have been absolute troopers, right? They've been working on this. Nobody really gives them any credit. I mean, definitely. I haven't seen, I haven't seen any of the bigger medias or anything like that give these guys a platform or anything. But you know what? They're the ones doing really the only big open source Lightning node project. And at one point, I think I had 9 nodes running different versions of Raspiblitz, all doing testing. And no, I didn't run 9 nodes because I thought I was protecting the network. I understood that I wasn't. Okay. But what I did want to do is I wanted to mess around, right? I wanted to do these different installs. I wanted to have different nodes with different features and stuff like that. And it's just a great product. So look, if you want to run a truly open source node, something that is really do it yourself, boss, ground up, consider the Raspiblitz. Anyways, good job, guys. I think it's pretty cool what they did with their update, though. Look at this, right? So for the people who know anything about nodes, yeah, I'm sorry, we're going down the nerd path. So if you know anything about nodes, you know that previously, right, you had your operating system, right, what boots up. It was on a little, little micro SD card, and then you had either, right, some type of hard drive for the blockchain data, chain state, anything that had to do with Lightning channels or whatever it is. Well, these guys, okay, it looks like they've changed it up, and this is what's getting me really curious, right? The new setup instead, it looks like all it is, if I got it correct, we still have the micro SD just for the install, but then all it's using is the SSD or the NVMe drive. That's it. So there's no more 2 separate drives. I wonder what kind of challenges that's actually going to bring. But it's got me curious, and it got me wanting to know if it got me curious to actually try it out, right, and see how well it works. So we'll see. We will take a look at this. Anyways, all right. Guys, you know the deal. We're at the end of the show. Please don't forget, if you haven't signed the petition yet, please sign the petition. If you feel so inclined to donate to help these guys out, Samurai Wallet, in jail for writing code, please consider doing so. That's right, guys. It's going to do it for us for today. Let's take one last look at the Bitcoin price. Okay, 73.1. That's fine. That is fine. Tomorrow, I will be back. 12:10 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. We're going to have more news, more stuff that's happening. And I hope to catch you guys then. Let's take a look at the comments. Yep. Yeah, exactly. We should definitely encourage understanding trade-offs, not purity. This is one of the big problems, right? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's ego, if it's flex, or whatever it is. It's like the art of having the discussion and just simply coming to an agreement. Not even an agreement. Forget about the word agreement. Just coming to an understanding. Again, superhero stuff all of a sudden, right? All right, guys. Have a great rest of the day. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy. There's this comment in that's in the show that like the guy's talking about making weekly income, and it's just absolutely killing me that I can't delete it. like it's spam. Why? Why can't I delete the spam? All right. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Catch you tomorrow.